Good
I love when we
morning.
have a guest because it feels like the Brady Bunch a little bit.
It does. It definitely does. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It is Today in Travel, where we talk about all things travel related. We have a special guest with us today, Andy from Atlas Ocean Voyages. How are you?
Pretty good, Jason. Haley, thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely. So, guys, if you're watching us for the first time, I'm Jason Poole. I'm a travel advisor with Cruise Planners. Love talking and helping people plan amazing vacations. Haley, if someone is watching us for the first time, do a quick hello and then we'll get into our guest.
Hello, everybody. My name's Haley. I'm the owner of Hospitality with a Flair, which is a hotel sales support company. Been in hotels for almost 18 years now and love traveling all over with Jason. And I'm so excited for today's guest because
I'm too. I'm too. They have some
I
cool
will
stuff.
get into the topic and I'll mention why in a bit. So keep
Okay.
going.
All right. So, first of all, Andy, tell us who you are, how long you've been in the travel industry, and who is Atlas Ocean Voyages.
My name is Andy Fuentes. I am from Florida. So, hello from sunny Miami, sunny South Florida. I've been in the industry for approaching 20 years now, and I've been working with a lot of companies, some of which you probably all know: Carnival, Celebrity, Disney, Royal Caribbean. And lately, I've gone to the luxury side with Oceania, Crystal Cruises, and now Atlas Ocean Voyages. So, the reasons why I actually came to work for Atlas Ocean Voyages, this is actually the fun stuff. This is where I think the industry is heading to in the very, very near future. Because the hot button right now, the hot stuff is intimate cruising, and that's less than 200 passengers, and that's what we are. We are yachts. But we are yacht expeditions. So we are comfort luxury, everything included on our vessels, very large accommodations, large social spaces, and lounges. But at the same time, we're going to cool places, some very literally like Antarctica. And we just joined the industry about like 5 years ago. So we're
Wow.
the new ish kid on the block right now.
Nice. And how many ships do you guys currently have right now?
So we have three ships in the water right now, and they're all new build ships, Jason. Talk about the first one launched in 2019 ish, then relaunched in 2021 because we all know what happened. And then 2022, we launched a new one, Traveler. And then 2023, last year, we launched our other new one, which is Voyager.
Fantastic.
So do you guys, and part of me for maybe being a little ignorant here, I was just excited because I never really thought about like Antarctica till I became friends with Jason. I don't know why, because I love going, all these other places, doing pretty adventurous things. Do you guys go other places other than Antarctica? Because I was just assuming Antarctica.
No, it's a very good question, Haley, because a lot of times when people hear expedition, they just think about Antarctica and that's it, rinse and repeat. Or they say, well, Antarctica and the Arctic, and that's about it. But with Atlas Ocean Voyages, we are a yacht and expedition. So we get to travel to all over the world. So think about Antarctica, the Arctic, and everything in between.
Well, and
Very
also, so if you don't want to go somewhere cold, you guys have some pretty neat sailings that like it's like a culinary expedition.
Yeah.
What is that?
So what we want is to make every single cruise an expedition. And so you're probably wondering, well, what does that mean? I mean, this do we have to wear the short shorts, the safari hats, the binoculars, the backpack? Like what exactly is that?
Jason would.
Yeah. So the word expedition truly means three things. It means discover new things. It means get immersed. You definitely want to get immersed in cultures on the environment that you are. Turning a little bit of how it is to be a local in these destinations. And the last thing is get involved. Yeah, you're not sitting around in the casino all day. We want you to get out there and really experience. Roll your sleeves up and really experience what we have to offer. So yeah, if you don't like the code, if you don't like Antarctica, which I definitely recommend, if you haven't done it, you have to do it. But we do have expeditions in Europe. We call it Epicurean expeditions. And you're with a celebrity chef and a vintner. And that celebrity chef that's from the Food Network or Top Chef, they are traveling with you, explaining the food culture, showing you the food culture of the regions that you're visiting. And then we have cultural expeditions. If food and wine's not your thing, which I understand. We do have other types of expeditions that you can learn, for example, how to take pictures with a drone, or just a little tad of Epicurean expeditions. I love the storytellers. We actually hand choose aficionados who go on the vessel and explain, like, for example, in the Caribbean, the history of the Caribbean, the dance of the Caribbean, the architecture of the Caribbean. So you're really taking a deeper dive in the destinations that you possibly have gone to or you have never been to.
Wow. I mean, Haley and I are definitely food and wine people. That
Yes.
sounds nice.
I'm over here. I'm like, hmm.
So, Andy, I follow you on Facebook. You just went to Antarctica.
That's right. I
Did
did.
you? I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask you for people watching us. Did you do the polar plunge?
I'll answer it this way.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Haley, would you do the
So,
polar plunge?
I 100% would. I feel like I'd have to push you though. And it's
Yeah.
not that you wouldn't want to do it. I can see you like dip in the toe and be like, oh, and then just be like, go, Jason.
Yeah. I almost didn't want to get in the pool this past weekend because it was like, 60 degrees in the water, right? And the water's what, 32, 33 degrees down there, Andy?
31 was when I went in. That was maybe
Ooh,
like almost at noon. Like I probably
what
went in
is
like
it?
11:15, 11:30
What does it
a.m. in the morning.
feel
It's like
like when
31
you
degrees.
jump in?
So think about a million needles striking your
Yeah, that's what I
body.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Ooh.
then you come up and then obviously the wind of Antarctica. And just to kind of clarify something, because a lot of times when I talk to folks and I tell my experience, like, oh my God, were you freezing? Did you turn into a block of ice? No, because the average temperature in Antarctica when we go, and when we go in the summertime, which is the summer hemisphere, November through March, it's about 40, 42 degrees. So it's not that bad. Actually, sometimes in Florida, it's a little colder. So it's not that bad. And we do give you a parka. Like, I'm not wearing the parka because here in Miami, it's like 90 something degrees. So I wear the vest. And this vest, it's part of the parka. You can take it out. Like if you're hiking, you feel hot, you can take out the vest. And it actually feels warm. That's why I have it opened. But you have the parka. We give that to you so you can take it as a souvenir. And it's not that bad. It's not that cold. And you can wear a little bit of layers. Like layers is your friend. So don't overpack and get to explore
Just nice for
the
you.
beautiful landscape that's Antarctica.
So what's like an average day like? I've done an expedition vacation before, but like in Antarctica, like you wake up, what are you doing? How long are you off the ship? Like what's an average day like in Antarctica?
That's a great question because it's not like what we're used to. When we go to the Caribbean or we go to Europe, it's a day of basically relaxing and, maybe, go shopping, whatever. It's not that. Unfortunately, the Penguins have not opened up any shopping places into Antarctica.
No.
So no, I'm sorry, but this is what you do. So what you do is only like 150 people, 160 people that travel with you, which is great. So you get that intimate feeling. And what Atlas does is separates you by groups, like groups of maybe 20, 25. And what we do is we actually kind of put you in appointments. And what that means is that, let's say one day we call one group at 9 a.m., the next group will call you at 10 a.m. And then we kind of take a break. And then the next group we called in, like, let's say 11. And the next one will be at 12 or something of that sort. Obviously, we have lunchtime we take into effect, but you're usually out there for an hour and you're 25 a piece. And you're going to say, well, what if I'm not an early riser? Can I switch groups? Well, you're with the same group, but we alternate you. So maybe the next day you're with the latter part of the day. And that's how it goes. You're out there for an hour and I'll say hour-ish because sometimes we do go a little longer depending on where we are. And you're all different parts of Antarctica. You're all different parts of the continent. So one of the questions I always get, will I get to touch the continent? The answer is yes, you are. You are going to step foot in the continent. You are going to go to an island. You're going to go to a point where the zodiacs can go into, and you're going to see the habitats of the penguins. You're going to see virtually three species of penguins, which is the Gentoo penguin, the chinstrap penguin, and the Delhi penguin. And that's their
That'd be
all
great.
habitat. Then you have seals. You have the cousins of the sea lions. So not sea lions, actually are what's called the Antarctic seal and humpback whales. And what really took me back is and you probably can attest to this. You spend hundreds of dollars usually for like sightseeing for whales, and you might catch a little glimpse of a fin or something like that. You're going to see humpback whales like right in front of you, maybe 50 feet or 100 feet away from you,
That's amazing.
uh in which they're curious of you. They see, they actually they look at the zodiac per se, and they want to know who you are and what are you doing here, and they're playful. They're not harmless, they're very, very playful. They want to see, same thing as the penguins. Like the penguin may see you and actually approach you. So don't be surprised
Oh,
that some of them may peck at your feet. Some of them may just walk around you. To them, you're a different animal. You're just part of the ecosystem, and they're just walking by you, and you're walking by it. So that's, I mean, while seeing like um, all this landscape of Antarctica, it's untouched by man. It's like higher powers it's doing their work there, and it's like there's no schedule, there is no people do it. It's just like, hey, just let nature be. And I
oh.
kind of got off track, and I'm sorry. Like you actually
No,
do two
no,
landings.
I'm enthralled.
No,
So
no, I'm over here. I'm like, okay.
you do two landings every day. So we go to
Okay.
two different points every single day. So in the morning, you go to one point, and then the next morning, I mean, sorry, the next afternoon, and in the afternoon, you do another point, and then so forth and so on until you get to go back up to Argentina. And again, every single point, it's a different view, different species of animals. Sometimes you will see animals at work. So unfortunately, you might see a leopard seal eat a penguin. I'm sorry, folks. That is the circle of life. That's
Yeah.
how it goes. But you see everything. You do have an opportunity to kayak, and you get to see really up and close and personal the animals. And we do have activities to actually get to camp on the continent. That is with the sleeping bag. That is actually sleeping with the animals. You will have the opportunity if you're that much of an adventurist.
I'm back on the boat. That's me. Like
What I heard, what I heard about the,
I'm adventurous, but like
yeah, what I heard about like the
I need a
cycle
good
of
bed.
life.
My back has seen its better
Yeah,
days.
yeah, yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
I mean, I wish them well. I cheers with them because I have dinner very early, and I saw them, and I said, "Here, cheers! We'll drink wine together." And they went. I just waved goodbye from the boat. Yeah, that's basically that's kind of like the limit where I go with adventure. But people like to do
Yeah, I tell
Hey,
people my version of camping is like a Hampton Inn.
oh, I joke.
Um,
My version of camping is a Hyatt place. I get it, right? I get
yeah.
it.
So I guess that kind of, is a question that I'm curious about. It's probably two part. Um, are the excursions roughly the same? Like I remember Jason being in the Galapagos, and you had a choice between like snorkeling or hiking in a certain part. Um, so is it kind of like that? Do they change up every day? And is everything included, or like what's included with the fare?
So everything in Antarctica is included, and in other places we kind of made it custom. Like you can customize what you want to include or not. But since we are talking about Antarctica, usually Antarctica is all included. So you're not. So a lot of people say, "Is it?" Doesn't sound like an expedition. You're right. It sounds like luxpedition. It sounds like something more higher end that you can have gourmet meals, alcohol included. I'm talking about high end wines, high end liquor, like Macallan 18, for example, is something we include and we have it in our bar. You can have a drink, a nightcap, when you get on the ship, and then in the daytime you're with your beanie, you're with your parka, and off you go, visiting these places. So are the excursions, you have a choice. Well, since we are limited, again, it's not like the Galapagos where it's a little bit Galapagos is a little bit restrained, but not as restrained as Antarctica. Because the number one priority, besides our passenger safety, is the safety of the animals. So we want to take folks here to kind of to see the same things. Because not if you go, let's say if you go to Antarctica one year and you go again the next year, you're going to see something different because not everything is going to be the same. So if the weather is great and we take it to these points, you definitely want everybody to see the same thing. That's why we have two different landings and two different points because we definitely want to see other things. So the choices per se that you can like choose differently would be the kayaks, because kayaking, you're going to different points that the zodiacs can get to, and then the camping as well. So those are the two side excursions that are not included that you can partake in. It's the kayak and the camping. Everywhere else is a zodiac. And the zodiacs, oh, there's my dog. And then the zodiacs is, sometimes we do zodiac cruising, that you go around like icebergs, and icebergs are big as buildings, sometimes the size of skyscrapers. That's the size of these
Wow.
icebergs that you're talking about.
Amazing.
Glaciers, caves, rocks, and again, rocks that are ginormous. Like
Amazing.
Antarctica, where you go, it's just something different. And folks say, well, is it like Alaska? And I go, no, no, no. Alaska is a pebble, Antarctica is a mountain.
Wow. So if somebody's not adventurous, maybe it's like, hey, I don't really want to go Antarctica,
Kayaking
and they
either.
want to just like relax. Is Atlas a good option for those people who want to just kind of take it easy, maybe in the Mediterranean, and have a nice, relaxing, restful vacation?
Yeah, so even in Antarctica, you can relax.
Okay.
So, like the thing about Luxpedition is the ship is there's nothing like structure. You don't feel rushed. It's a great Atlas is a great place to put your hair down, like relax, grab a wine,
Yes, yes.
catch up on relationships. Rekindle relationships, whether it be your spouse, friends. I went with 7 of my closest friends and I went to Antarctica. Now we have kids and everything, and basically when we get together, it's not like, we have to take care of the kid and who's going to take care of the cooking and everything like that. But we went to Antarctica. We actually, for the first time in a very long time, we sat down, talk about life, where we catch everything. So it really puts things in perspective. Now, if you go to Europe, for example, yeah, Europe is more relaxing because Europe, you have the chef and the chef makes food for you, and you have the vintner that's around, like, hey, this is a bottle of wine I got from Bordeaux. This is like this private collection, and you can't find that like in Total Wine, for example. So you're gonna find
Right.
this weird name, like, wow, you're gonna taste it, like, oh my god, this is the best wine I've ever had, or Greek wine, or Turkish wine, or
Mm.
something of that sort, depending on the region that you are. And you're seeing the Mediterranean. You're going to these beautiful destinations. At the same time, you're having champagne at our pool. While the chef comes in, hey, I see you at the pool. Well, you want to taste these meatballs I just made? And
Oh,
you're like, yeah, sure. What
amazing.
you feel like you're your private yacht, except you're gonna be with like 100 and something of your closest friends.
That's unbelievable.
I'm kind of happy my husband's not up here because that is definitely his.
That's awesome. So we only have a few more minutes before we wrap up. So tell us, how long has the company been around? We got into talk about that, and like, what is the path forward? I mean, are we planning more ships, or are we staying at three, or what's
Oh
the
no,
roadmap?
no, no. So the company's been around for 5 years. And we had that period. We had that, period, I would say.
Right. Yep.
Mm,
Uh and we emerged from there, and we actually have been growing. So like I said, the past 3 years, we have a ship every single year. We're gonna pause for a little bit, only because what we're doing is we're going through an evolution. And this evolution is because we have the 3 types of expeditions that we want to carry into the future, which is polar expedition for the poles. We have Epicurean expedition for the foodies, and then we have cultural expeditions for the explorers. So we are going to expand. We're going to have more ships by the end of the decade, and I'm talking about maybe 6 or possibly even 7. You have to
Wow.
stay tuned for that. And then we want to go to different places. We definitely want to touch Africa. We want to touch Asia, Australia. So and keeping it with the expedition. So this is a growing company.
That's exciting.
This is something that, again, it's a whole different feel, a whole different vibe than the cruises that you're used to. What I would tell you my personal experience, and 2 things. One was the check-in process and the checkout. The check-in process from ground to my stateroom was just 15 minutes.
That's
And when
amazing.
I got in, I got my glass of champagne. I had the entire crew lined up and they were clapping for me. I thought I was like the starter of a basketball game. And I was like, everybody's clapping for me, and I always felt so welcome. But but this is the luxury part. So when I sat down and I gave my documents and they were doing the check-in for me, they brought like a few plates of hors d'oeuvres. and you know what? And I was hungry. It was a long journey to get to the ship, and I was hungry, and it gave me like some light bites just to kind of kill the hunger until I went to dinner. And the second thing is the crew gets to know you. They are anticipatory of what you like. And the example that I use, and this is one of many, but the main example is, you know, if I was with you, Jason and Haley, we're having a conversation, and this happens all the time. We're having a conversation, we're drinking, and all of a sudden your drink is empty, and you're like looking for the waiter, looking around, like, where's the waiter? And you're not paying attention. You're still conversing, but you're not paying attention because you're looking for the waiter to get your next drink because you want to keep the party going. What I like about Atlas is even before you finish your drink, you have the other drink waiting for you. So we never have to kill the conversation looking for the staff. The staff already knows that it's time for your next drink.
That's
Hey,
interesting. The only other place that I think I really get that treatment is like being at Jason's apartment when I go visit. That's a nice touch.
that is a nice touch. Andy, it has been wonderful chatting with you. Are there any parting words you want our viewers to know before we let you go?
Yeah, definitely. This is something right now that we're introducing this Luxpedition yacht expedition in the market. So the pricing right now is perfect. We definitely want to get the word out there. We're the new-ish kids on the block. We definitely want you all to experience it. Definitely experience one of the three expeditions. But keep in mind, definitely if it's something that you're looking for, something in Europe, something in South America, etc. Now's the time to book. Jason is a fantastic partner. We give them the deal, so definitely reach out to him, but definitely do it sooner rather than later because once this catches extreme popularity, yeah, we're gonna raise those prices. So definitely,
Absolutely.
if you're looking for a deal, now's the time.
Now, awesome. Haley, any parting thoughts or questions for Mr. Andy?
Not on here. I'm just ready to go.
You're
I
all
gotta
ready to
do
go.
this polar plunge here.
Oh, awesome. Andy, it has been a pleasure. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, Andy with Atlas Ocean Voyages, and we will be back next week.
Thank you very